Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Brandon Newton Network presents Late Night Politics with Brandon. Got some very good video clips for you guys tonight, as well as my reaction. Stay tuned to my channel for coverage of the Republican National Convention going on right now. Anyway, let's jump right into it full force.
I want to give you a chance to start, however. Are you holding out or are you joining Sanders?
This is Nina Turner on is she ready to endorse Hillary Clinton or what the case, you know? Remember Vince McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club from the early 2000s? Hillary has started that back up, and the first member of it was Bernie Sanders. He kissed her right on the ass. Now, look, don't unsubscribe to me because I was picking on Bernie Sanders. I've had people do that last episode. Look, I was just joking. Did you not see me get very pissed off at the videos where they were disrespecting Bernie Sanders and I was defending him? Did you not see that? Ugh, contradictions.
Endorsing Clinton tonight.
It's a joke.
Well, Chris, I know people want to talk a lot about endorsements, but this is not just about endorsements. This is about endurance. You know, we put it into words. Now it's on paper via the Democratic platform. And now this is about implementation. And so I certainly plan to go all the way to the Democratic convention and beyond to make sure that what we put in that platform is actually executed.
When are you going to endorse?
Well, Chris, this is not about my endorsement. This is really about
I'm asking you. I'm curious.
Country.
when are you going to do it?
Well,
Shut up, Chris,
but that's not, you know, this has to be processed. I mean, those of us who support Senator Bernie Sanders, this has not been necessarily an easy day for us. We were hoping that this day never happened because we wanted to see him become the Democratic nominee.
Right.
And so, again, the endurance, what it's going to take to hold the status quo accountable is what happened in that platform committee fight in Orlando. And beyond in making sure that if the president is Secretary Hillary Clinton, that we uphold all of those values that were written on that piece of paper.
Fair enough. That's your right to negotiate. But let me ask you, do you think Secretary Clinton won fair and square?
No, hell no.
Well, Chris, obviously she got the most votes, and Senator Sanders was very clear about that.
Fair and square.
She got the most votes, and Senator Sanders was clear about that. I mean, this is really about how we take this country to the next level.
But not fair and square. Technically, she did, but remember the election fraud. So she didn't agree that Hillary got fair and square. She just said, well, she got more votes. You know, can't stand Chris Matthews, man. I like to punch him right in the fucking face.
And to make sure that we take care of the folks, the middle class folks, the working class folks in this country who deserve that type of leadership. But Chris, also, we cannot forget that Senator Sanders supporters, many of them who have reached out to me, many of them who have been on social media, they are hurting right now. And I'm not going to ignore the pain that they're feeling today.
Do you believe that 78%, according to the latest polling, of Sanders folks like yourself are supporting Hillary Clinton? 78%, about 4 out of 5. Do you believe that number?
Hell no.
Well, I don't know what measures they use. I mean, polls are snapshots in time, but
That's absolutely right. Yeah, who do they poll? I never get polled. I don't even know anybody supporting Hillary Clinton. I really don't. Do you guys know anyone? It's amazing to me. Everybody I talk to, left or right, they say they like Bernie Sanders. I don't see it. Who are these people? I mean, I know she's got voters out there somewhere, but it's amazing to me. And the most unfavorable candidate in history. If she's unfavorable, why do people vote? I don't get that. It's a slippery slope. And then again, I'm just saying, against a very popular candidate, Bernie Sanders, had more turnouts than Obama in 2008. The dude was a rock star. He was the Rock of WWE fame. He was like the Rock coming out. Crowd went crazy.
will tell you this: it is not just about the polls, but it is how we get people out to go vote. So that is the most important thing. And as Democrats, we're going to have to work very hard to do that. As we know, polling came out today that shows that the millennials, the 18 to 35-year-olds, still have a strong distrust of the secretary.
See, that's not true, man. There was another poll. It was 50-50 or 55 to 45. And, you know, they say Sanders supporters will forget about it and endorse Hillary as months go by. That might have been true in the past, but things have changed. I'm going to use the WWE analogy. when a very popular wrestler leaves or gets screwed over, they still cheer for the guy, still cheer for him. Daniel Bryan, for example, CM Punk, they still cheer for him. You know, they don't forget. People nowadays just don't forget. And you constantly have people like myself on YouTube making videos reminding people just how unfavorable Hillary Clinton is and how popular Bernie Sanders is. Just pointing out the facts here. People just ain't gonna let it go. It ain't the 1960s where people will just forget about it and say, hey, well, it's not establishment voters, you know, because they're thinking Sanders supporters forget about it in a couple months and vote for Bernie. Bernie thought that too. That's why he endorsed her. But the endorsement ain't helping shit. She's actually losing to Donald Trump in Pennsylvania and other key areas, according to other polls. So the endorsement didn't help shit. He's going to have to be the VP for her to win the election. So she's going to have to wake up one morning and say, what's more important to me? Money from my super PACs or actually winning the presidency? Because as you know, if she picks Bernie as her VP or Elizabeth Warren, a lot of her super PACs are going to disappear because they know they're going to get taxed more and they're not going to really support Hillary anymore. So they already threatened her with that behind the curtain. So if I was her, I would pick Bernie just to be certain that I would win and feed off his popularity. Because a voter would say, well, I'll vote for Hillary Clinton because I believe in Bernie Sanders and I want to have a place in that office.
But we have to work. Those votes have to be earned.
Last question. Do you have a distrust of her?
Well, I'm not taking away from anything that the secretary has worked so hard for. This is not about me as the individual, but it really is about the movement. And I want to see this political movement continue because it is bigger than just who's in the White House. It is going to take teamwork to make the dream work. Okay. And we're going to have to keep pushing to make sure that that happens.
Well, we'll keep listening to you. Stay on the program. We're going to listen to you. I think you're going to be a voice right through this process. Anyway.
Yeah, Nina Turner said that she said a couple of months back, right before the California primary. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brandon News Network. She said a few months ago, she said, I endorse the right candidate, win, lose, or draw, because I'm able to sleep well at night. Because she was criticized for not endorsing Hillary because they're both females. Yeah, go figure. But knowing Nina Turner, knowing her progressive background, it doesn't make sense for her to be with Hillary Clinton. She'd call Hillary out on her bullshit. She said, come on, you white devil. Let's sell this right here now. But let's move on. I heard that Donald Trump has a VP pick. But before that, let's get on some more Hillary hate. You know,
you don't have to support him.
Hello, hey, baby.
That's your.
Okay, this clip right here, I'm going to show you. 60-second video. I want you to watch it if you're thinking about voting for Hillary Clinton.
Right, but remember this. Millions of hardworking, back-busting, red, white, and blue-loving, God-fearing Americans made their choice. That's how this thing works. So go ahead and vote for Hillary. Go ahead and vote for the woman that tells a lie, a whole lie, and nothing but a lie every time she opens her mouth. Go ahead. Go ahead and vote for a woman that blamed a YouTube video for a terrorist attack, then turned around and lied to the families of our fallen warriors, then had the stones to call them the liars. Go ahead. Vote for a woman that took donations for her foundation from foreign leaders as Secretary of State. Go ahead and vote for the woman that put our national security at risk with her private email server because she couldn't be bothered to separate her yoga emails from her duty to her country. You can look at your little girl and tell her the first female president did all of that. Go ahead. If you see her as a lesser of two evils, go ahead. That's on you. I won't be joining that team. This isn't about stopping the Democrats. This is about stopping the pantsuit.
Damn, it's kind of like one of Trump's daughters. Trump's daughter should watch that video and say exactly the same thing. And people be like, well, hell yeah.
Republican,
and that girl
Democrat, independent.
was a Democrat saying that, I'm assuming. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with me. If you're new to this, if you want to support this channel, simply subscribe. Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, potentially. Who is this motherfucker? Let's find out. Let's find out who he is. Because as Donald Trump, genius for picking this guy, because It's going to be a Christian based strategy. Get ready for a Trump-designed, Bible-thumping campaign strategy to smear Hillary Clinton's morality. That's where she's weak at. Untrustworthiness. Her trustworthiness is unworthy, and her morality is questioned. That's why he picked Mike Pence, because it's perfect, because that's where she's weak at, and he can simply sit back and say, well, you're not a real Christian, you're not a good Christian, blah, blah, blah. I know it's not supposed to be a religion, separation of church and state, but remember, this is a Christian country. Most people are Christian here, and it's very appealing, especially to Christian voters. Hillary Clinton needs redemption. And if Bernie's the VP going against Mike Pence and destroying Mike Pence can say, well, Bernie Sanders, you're not even a Christian. And everybody will buy into it when it's not supposed to matter. Bernie will be like, okay, yeah, but let's focus on the issues. What's this got to do with Jesus? And Pence will be like, what do you think God thinks about you, Bernie Sanders? And Bernie will say, I don't know. You got to ask God. You know, Bernie can say he's religious, but it'd be generic answers. Whereas Mike Pence will be quoting the Bible and, you know, reading this and reading that and leaving out Leviticus and Deuteronomy, but that's beside the point. And it's just a good way to get the Christian voters. You know, you got the black vote, the ethnic vote, the white vote, the Christian vote, the Muslim vote, a lot of votes out there, the Hispanic Latino vote. So Mike Pence was put in there to get the Christian voters over Hillary, in my opinion. And it's very smart. And Donald Trump can always say, hey, yeah, I've cleaned up my act. I'm not racist anymore. I'm not a bigot anymore because Mike Pence has showed me the light, which is hilarious, but it's believable because a Christian that's uninformed will believe that. She'll say, well, yeah, that makes sense. You know, I didn't like Trump at first, but I like him now because he gave his life to the Lord and he got saved. So him flip-flopping and changing his attitude would make sense because he got saved. You know. Anyway, so let's learn about Mike Pence.
So the media is reporting that Trump settled on his VP pick. Knowing Trump, anything is possible in terms of changing his mind at the last minute. But as of now, he says that he's going with Mike Pence. This is the governor of Indiana. So what do we need to know about this guy? Well, I would describe him as a fringe establishment Republican. Almost a contradiction in terms there, but not really. So he's still within the spectrum of being an...
Yeah, because Trump's supposed to be anti-establishment. Now he's got an establishment? What the fuck? But your redneck supporters out there don't give a shit about the little details. We don't care about them facts and details out there.
Establishment Republican, total corporate sellout. He's on the fringe of the establishment Republicans. So he was in Congress. He was there for a while. Right now he's the governor of Indiana, and he's an insider. And he's probably most known for recently causing outrage by signing an anti-LGBT bill that allowed businesses to discriminate. It solidified the right of businesses to discriminate against gay people because of their religious beliefs. Oh, my religion?
Good. This gives Hillary arsenal because when he says, well, you know, people don't trust you, you're not a Christian, etc., she can come back and say, well, you're homophobic, you're against the LGBTQ in such a community. Yay, cheers. Because the gay people will vote for Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And that's great. Love to have our gay, bisexual, transgender, queer comrades on our side, our allies on our side. You know, where they're straight allies. That's great. You know, okay. So he's anti-gay, which I didn't think about that, but that makes perfect sense. He signed an anti-LGBT bill. Hell yeah, because she can use that against him. Arsenal, baby. You believe in God, Bernie Sanders? Well, I don't think you believe in gay rights, you son of a bitch.
He says, I don't want to hire no damn gays, so I'm not going to hire you. Or I'm going to fire you. So this is what this guy believes. Now, in response to this, basically every corporation in Indiana was like, yeah, piss off. We're going to leave if you sign that and if this stays law. So he's like, well, me? No, I love gay people. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to get rid of that. So, in other words, this is what I mean when I say he's a fringe establishment Republican. So he was outside of the realm of establishment Republican. He was a true social conservative Kool-Aid drinker. But then when push came to shove and the businesses were like, dude, we're about to be out. He's like, oh, no. I mean, gay people are great. Great. So then he moved back inside the fringe or the spectrum of establishment Republicanism. He also supported the Iraq War. That's interesting. This is the pick that Donald Trump went with, a guy who supported the Iraq War. He's been on the campaign trail hammering the Iraq War endlessly. And, you know, he almost kneecaps one of his own main arguments that he's been using against Hillary Clinton, where he says she was for it, I'm against it. That's a strong argument.
Yeah, that's going to be a contradiction the left's going to point out. You know, oh, you were against the Iraq War, but your VP is for the Iraq War. And Trump will say, well, we can't agree on everything 100%, but he's a good Christian and he's pro-war and anti-gay, and he helps me in those areas.
But now he kind of kneecapped that because his second-hand man or right-hand man, whatever the fuck you call it, he's like, yeah, no, totally, Iraq War. He was one of the lead defenders of the Iraq War, Mike Pence.
Oh, shit.
And let's also be clear for the record that Trump, his rhetoric on the campaign trail has been great on the Iraq War, but it actually isn't true that he was against it. There's audio of him on Howard Stern from back when the war first happened, and he's basically like, yeah, why not? Just give it a shot. So he wasn't against it. Let's be clear. Later on, his rhetoric changed, and his rhetoric now is good, and I'll give him credit for that. He also supports the TPP. Now I just like, what are you doing, Trump? What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't make no sense. Trump's anti-TPP and Mike Pence is pro-TPP. That don't make no sense right there. Oh, that's too many contradictions, inconsistency.
The two decent things about Trump that he is always hammering the Iraq War today, and he's always doing a rhetoric.
Yeah, because that's about the only way I could justify Donald Trump if I was to vote for him in spite of Hillary. I'm like, well, he's anti-war, he's anti-TPP. Goddamn, now you got a Christian fundamentalist in there that pro-TPP, probably pro-fracking. I think, yeah, and goddamn, anti-gay and everything. May the God of Abraham strike you down with all his might, you son of a bitch.
Against the TPP. Now it's like those things are gone because you're picking somebody who's wrong on the two main things where you actually make a little bit of sense with your rhetoric.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I could justify Trump. And now you can't justify him there. There's nothing left for Trump.
Why would you do that? I mean, I actually know.
Well, he's pandering to the establishment voters and the establishment, basically. He got Mike Pence to clean him up. So building a wall and, well, he probably still builds a wall. Well, he ain't going to build shit, but he probably still talk about it. But, yeah, anti-TPP, he might stop saying that. And anti-war, yeah, well, who cares, you know? Wow.
He's doing that. He's doing that because all he hears constantly from establishment Republicans is, oh my God, you're losing the base, you're losing the base, you're losing the base, you're losing the base, you're losing the base. So he's picking somebody who he thinks is going to shore up the base. Now, why do I think that's a bad?
Yeah, Pence is going to legitimize him as a Republican, but at the same time, he's going to lose the independent voters and the anti-establishment voters that voted for him because of that. Because of the anti-TTP, anti-war. But then again, the Republican voters really care about war. I mean, a lot of them would probably be cool if he was pro-war. I thought he was pro-war up until a few weeks ago. He seems like it. When he said to Chris Matthews he wouldn't take nukes off the table, and Paris was like, are you going to bomb us? No, I just ain't going to take it off the table. I ain't going to take it off the table. That paranoia.
Strategy? I think it's a bad strategy because it's actually not true that Trump
he feeds off paranoia, anxiety. You know, they're going to take your guns away. Vote for me. You're going to be killed by terrorists. Vote for me. You know, you're more likely to be killed. You're more likely to win the lottery and get killed by terrorists. He feeds off paranoia. He feeds off the fear of Americans. That's his plan.
He never lost the base. That's why he won the Republican primary. You know who he lost? The only people he lost are establishment Republicans. People like Bill Kristol, some prominent neoconservatives, rich elite establishment Republicans in the Washington bubble. That's who he lost. But he keeps hearing from them that he lost the base. So he's like, I got to shore up the base. I got to pick this guy, Mike Pence. Well, you already have the base, jackass. You already fucking have the base. If he went with a somewhat moderate pick, I think he would have upped his chances big time for winning the election. But no, he went with a typical douchebag and somebody who supports the TPP and somebody who supported the Iraq war. The two best things about Trump is that he hits those things. He's like, I would like to eliminate the only good things about me. Okay, more.
Wow.
The Koch brothers really, really like him, and they've given him hundreds of thousands of dollars. See, this is another reason why I probably pick Pence.
You hear that,
He's
Hillary?
like, well, the Koch brothers fucking hate me. The Kochs do hate Trump. So he's like, maybe this will make them feel like,
Wow.
Maybe we'll go back on that and donate a little bit to Trump's campaign because he desperately needs big money. He's raised big money from some sources, but a lot of the donors don't like him. Okay, so also, he attempted to start a state-run media organization in Indiana, which basically just does propaganda. It was compared to Pravda. I remember we covered that story on the show. So, I mean, the guy's a silly guy. He's a kind of authoritarian, just like Trump in that sense. Like, who does that? I'm going to create a state-run media organization, and then you act like it's a good, novel idea, like an original thought. Like, oh, nobody's ever done this before. Yeah, every authoritarian regime ever always controls the media. You're like, I want to do that. Yeah, that's stupid. We see right through it. Obviously, you're just going to do propaganda for your own administration. I mean, what do you think? We're dense? You're dense. And then he did criticize Trump on a couple things, but most prominently, the Muslim ban. He called it, quote, offensive and unconstitutional. That's a rare area where Mike Pence is actually better than Donald Trump. He doesn't.
Shit, they ain't got nothing in common, hardly. Like I said originally, he got Pence in there to question Hillary on her morality. Because he said, I'm a Christian, conservative, Republican, in that order. I said, oh, shit. Which is good arsenal. I mean, other than that, I disagree on a lot of things. Which, if you think about it, is no surprise because Trump is anti-establishment. And now he's got an establishment guy. But he's going to be good arsenal towards Hillary with the morality thing. But Hillary, hopefully Bernie can come right back with the, well, you're homophobic, you're pro-war, pro-TPP, goddamn, man. So, yeah, because when he picked Mike Pence and I saw his speech on C-SPAN this past weekend, I said, oh, shit, Trump's got a good one there. This guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about, and he's going to get Hillary with Christianity. After hearing this, I'm like, okay, they can just point out the inconsistency and contradictions and how they disagree, how they're not the same. They're not strong together. Interesting.
Climate change. Oh. He fucking doesn't believe in climate change. He wrote articles.
Oh, God damn.
He was briefly a while back a conservative talk show host.
No surprise.
That's like the mark of an idiot is that anybody who's ever been a conservative talk show host is like, come on, dude, really? That's what you're going to do? So he wrote these pieces and whatnot, talking about how, oh, yeah, don't. Actually, it's the opposite. World is totally cooling. Totally cooling.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm a conservative talk show host. I know better.
How dare you talk about climate change? It's all up to Jesus. Jesus controls the weather. We don't watch the news to see the weather. Jesus controls everything. Jesus controls the climate change. That big ass sun star out there, that's God's work, boy. That's God's work. The Hubble Space Telescope is fake. Them pictures are fake. Bigfoot's real. We don't believe in climate change because God controls the earth and the heaven.
And scientists and double-blind studies, peer-reviewed. Yeah. So, profound idiot. Just an idiot. If you can't
we can't stand science and technology. I hate science. Science is a bad word down here in the South. Science is a bad word. But at the same time, we enjoy the fruits of science and technology and medicine. We enjoy science when it comes to medicine. We can get you some good pain pills, and we love cell phones. We love our YouTube. We love our technology. I'm a hillbilly in the woods in the South. But goddamn, I can't live without my iPhone. And that came from science, the fruits of science. And now the scientists say climate change is real. Sea levels are rising. By 2050, we're going to be fucked up. I don't believe that's when Jesus comes in. Jesus comes right in here. He comes into my heart and soul and say, you scientists are a liar. And why would scientists make up shit about the earth and make up evolution, make up shit like that? Because of Satan, you goddamn devil. You made the God of Abraham strike you down with all his might.
Done with the crowd that doesn't believe in climate change.
Don't you think God can come down to earth and just say, this is the correct religion to believe in? Oh, hell no, that destroys the purpose of believing in him strongly and teaching and spreading the word. Because our God loves war. He loves war. You figure it out. You're the... Yeah.
Dismiss. Get the fuck away from me. I have no interest in you. You're a child. It's almost akin to arguing that the earth is flat. It really is. At this point,
Earth is
with all
flat.
the evidence,
It is flat, man.
This giant...
Shut up, you old city slicker boy. The earth is flat, you son of a bitch. The earth is flat. Don't you know that? The moon is a nightlight.
Analysis of studies done over like a decade on all the credible studies on climate change. So in other words, not the ones funded by fucking Exxon and Chevron.
We don't give a shit.
What did they find? It's something like 99.8, 99.9% of the studies agree that climate change is happening, largely man-made, and we got to do something to fix it. So I'm still not done yet because I saved the best two things for last. He doesn't believe in evolution.
Oh, come on, man. For real. Don't give me a headache. Don't give me a headache. Now I got to talk about evolution and the upcoming GE general election. I didn't want to go there, ladies and gentlemen. What is this, a theocracy? I told you it's going to be a Christian campaign. Just don't go there. But man, you have a lot of people in the South that don't believe in climate change, evolution, so on and so forth. And that's fine. That's fine. Believe what you want. But the thing is, Mike Pence is going to pander to those people. In the year 2016, you have a man up there saying, you know, homosexuality is a sin. Evolution's a lie. Climate change is fake. And a person in that position to say that with that kind of power is kind of scary. It's not. It's like Supreme Leader Hillary Clinton said, "Make America great again" is code for take America backwards. No, we're supposed to be past this shit. I don't care what you believe, but don't influence people with a fucking lie. And you can still believe in God and believe in science. You know, I try not to attack people's beliefs. You know, I'm a Buddhist, but, you know, it's not really a faith-based religion. It's not a top-down philosophy. It's a bottom-up philosophy. But, man, don't go there, Pence. Don't go around picking on science. Because I came to the left through science by accident. Because I grew up with science. I loved the History Channel when they showed legit science shows. I love science. It's stimulating. It's great. You know, it can't do nothing but help you. You go to the doctor, you're glad that you went at the end of the day. You don't sit there and say, thank Jesus. You say, thank the doctor for helping me and changing my liver and things like that. And thanks to the mental health counselor for giving me a personality reset so I don't talk like this anymore. Oh, man, come on. I love when people, you know, pass a college exam or go to the doctor and get surgery, and the first thing they say is, thank the Lord. I'm like, thank the doctor, or at least thank both. I mean, if I was a doctor and I fix somebody and I wake them up and the first thing they say is thank God, I'd be like, my feelings would get hurt a little bit. I'm like, well, you're welcome. I got my best friend a job, and the first thing he says is, "Thank the Lord, I'm back to work. Thank him." I'm like, does he think I'm God? Because he sure is thanking God a lot. Just thank both, if nothing else. Now, if I'm a doctor, I really wouldn't care because I get paid to do it. But at least thank both. Thank this doctor for fixing me, and thank the Lord. At least include the doctor. People just don't think that way. It doesn't occur to them. Like my friend that got the job and he thanked the Lord. It just didn't occur to him. That's all. That's fine. I just wish this wasn't this kind of campaign. That's why I love the Democratic primaries between Hillary and Bernie. It was issue focused, except for the Flint, Michigan debate where Hillary put that plant Christian in the crowd and she said, "Bernie, do you believe in God?" Bernie's like, "Well, yeah, well." That was a trick by a Hillary Christian supporter. Don't do this to us, Trump, man. I'm just saying, I ain't got no problem if you're religious. Just keep it private, man. Separation of church and state. And people be like, no, put Christianity in the schools. We ain't got to keep it private. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, if you got the supreme authority on your side, if you believe in God with great confidence and he's on your side, then you shouldn't have a problem with keeping it quiet and hashtag leave it to God. So when people really, really push religion to be in the church, not church, in the school systems and things like that, I'm like, they're worried. They don't have much confidence in their God. They must not be true believers. I believe in Buddhism, but it's a little bit different. But I'm very confident in my beliefs. I don't go around pushing the Buddha everywhere because I really don't care. I think it's the world's 4th most popular religion. That don't bother me. It could be the 100th religion. I wouldn't care because I have confidence in it and it works for me. So you shouldn't have to force God everywhere if you believe he actually exists and he's the supreme being. That's where I don't get it. Well, it's because it's not real and they have a bad feeling and that's why they push it everywhere. I'm just saying, keep that shit private. Keep it to yourself. Man, you force on other people, you're just worried. That's not true. And that should tell you something. The only way you can push it is just say, hey, my faith really works for me. It gives me a lot of comfort. Maybe you should try it. Say it that way, but I don't like this guy, Mike Pence. If he's going to go around disrespecting scientists, hard work and effort, because evolution leads to biology and leads to medicines that we have, that we enjoy, that we take for granted, So, shit, just don't attack it. Just don't go there. But it's the right-wing strategy to defeat Hillary Clinton. A damn good strategy. I just didn't want to see it. But, hey, it's cool. It's cool. We'll see what happens.
This is... We're the most powerful country on the planet. We have the most gargantuan military in human history. And we're going to have idiots like this running shit who you don't even believe in evolution. And I'm supposed to think you're rational enough to have fucking nuclear codes. What a...
Well, a lot of people don't believe in evolution. That's who he's pandering to. I think deep down he does believe in evolution. He's just saying what's popular. That's why you're never going to have an atheist president. And don't say, well, atheists can run for president. They can, sure. It's not against the law. But people are not going to vote for them. Religion is a very strong influence on this country still. Bernie Sanders did a great job sticking with the policies and sticking with his positions to where he didn't have to talk about religion because he's non-religious. He's a cultured Jewish, which means he's not religious. Because that should not matter when it comes to policies and political positions. You're not even supposed to talk about it at work. But you can talk about it if you run for president. If you're a true believer and you're a Christian, these things matter to you. And that's the majority of Americans. So you have to be Christian to be president. Obama wasn't a Christian, and then he turned into one to fix his presidency, to fix his campaign. There's videos on YouTube where he's mocking gods and things like that. I think he was of the Muslim faith originally. I'm not sure. I have to research, but most presidents are atheists anyway. They just tell you what you want to hear. If I was full of shit at the end of every episode, I'd tell you to have a blessed night. Just to say, oh, he's a nice man. He can say that. He told me that blessed night, But I don't say that. I say namaste, which is, kind of like the Buddha's way of saying have a blessed night or whatever. I just say what I believe. And even if I did believe, which is none of your business, I still wouldn't say it because there's a time and a place for that. Keep religion out of schools too, because you got church. That's what church is for. And that's just my opinion about it.
Joke this is. You don't believe in evolution. Idiot's a creationist. He thinks the world is 6,000 years.
That's why I'm liberal, because I try to respect other people's positions and faith. That's why I'm a liberal. If I was conservative, it's Jesus or bust. # Jesus or bust. Oh man, I can't stand creationists with their 6,000-year-old bullshit. That's not true. Ladies and gentlemen, search Bill Nye, the Science Guy debate, where he debates Ken Ham, not on religion, just on the age of the earth. Because he's like, what's this retard Ken Ham talking about? The world being 6,000 years old. Where do you get those facts from? The fuck's he talking about? And anyway, that's a very good debate because Bill Nye went in there honestly. He just went in there and was like, what's this guy talking about? His math's wrong. And then you can see what creationists are talking about. Now, not all Christians are creationists. I mean, to where they believe the earth is 6,000 years old. Those are the ones I get along with because the science is clear, that we just don't believe. It's kind of like the pork thing. You're not supposed to eat pork if you're a Christian, but everybody eats pork now because we let go of that silly superstition and things like that. That's kind of like what we need to do with the age of the earth. A lot of Christians will tell you that the earth is, 3.5 billion years old? Of course. They don't have a problem with that. And then when you ask them about evolution, they say, oh, I don't know about that. Christian apologetics, PhD apologetics. They all believe in evolution. They all believe in the Big Bang because they're scientists. And then they argue for God in other ways. But I appreciate them at least including the, science facts. I was talking to my Christian friend that went to a Christian school his whole life. He's like, yeah, man, I got to go to college now. It's a public college. So, because he had to take a biology class. And I said, he said this, not me. He was like, no, I don't believe in evolution still. I said, oh, yeah? You're taking a biology class, though. He's like, well, this is just public education. I was like, yeah, like your Christian school doesn't have a fucking agenda. I said, I'd rather take math than Christian math because I just want to know math, no agenda. Same thing with Buddhism. That's why I love Sam Harris and I love the American interpretation of mindfulness. We don't call it Buddhism, we call it mindfulness. But I respect the tradition of Buddhism enough to where I do read the old scriptures and the textbooks. Now I follow Thich Nhat Hanh. Do I believe him 100%? No. I'm still American practical approach when it comes to Buddhism, but I respect the tradition. I enjoy it, and most of it, it makes sense because it's a practical religion, philosophy. That's why I call it philosophy. It's not really a religion. Let's continue.
Years old. The world is 4.54 billion.
4.5 billion. Okay. I was off by a billion. But yeah, that kind of sucks. This campaign going in that direction. Oh well, what can you do? What can you do? Oh, Mike Pence, you can drop dead, motherfucker. We just don't need people like you. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad I'm on the right side of things. Because when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to science, I know I'm on the right side. And now, I follow conservatives. I'm like, well, they don't seem too bad. Yeah. And then I hear shit like this. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot they believe in a bunch of nonsense. Now I'm not disrespecting God when I say that, because I just said you can have a Christian theologian that believes the earth is 4.5 billion years old and still believe in God. Yeah. He's not saying the earth is 6,000 years old. So those are the ones I'm talking about. The fundamentalist, Ken Ham, crazy nut jobs. Westboro Baptist Church, where my grandma's at. Them kind of people.
Years old. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Look at this shit, man. Yeah, 6,000. We'll go with that. I don't believe the Bible. Because you're a fucking moron. That's why.
Yes.
And he's also a smoking truther.
Okay.
What is that, you ask? I'm glad you asked. It's somebody who has questions about whether or not smoking actually makes you sick and whether or not there's actually a link between smoking and, say, cancer or emphysema.
Oh, okay. I'll vote for him for that because I love the 1950s commercials about smoking. Because this before you had the scary advertisements of smoking gives you cancer, smoking kills you. Back then, the doctors would say in advertisements, buy you a pack of smokes, buy you a pack of cigarettes. It's good for you. It relaxes you, helps you mellow out. Bring those commercials back. I love those. And it does relax you and chill out and things like that. It helps you lose weight. And they said that. Sure. Does it trigger cancer and all that? Yeah. But I think it's a roll of the dice. But yeah, smoking is bad for you, obviously. I'm just saying I like the old school commercials before they knew the science. And they said, smoking relaxes you. It makes you chill out. It helps you lose weight. Because they leave that part out of the new advertisements. Because that is one benefit.
He wrote a piece on this. By the way, he took so much money from shock, the tobacco companies. Would you look at that? Look at his opinions. They happen to line up with the tobacco companies.
Lordy.
In fact, he literally said at one point, quote, smoking doesn't kill.
It don't. It don't, man. It's good
this
for
you. This is
you.
Trump's VP pick. You ready for the...
Yes.
Again, somehow it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
He's pro-smoking.
The saddest part of all this. What do the Democrats do? Some of the Democrats, including President Obama, they came out with positive words about Mike Pence. Let me repeat that. Maybe you didn't hear me right.
I didn't.
Positive words about Mike Pence.
Oh, God damn.
They're like, what the fuck, Kyle? You just told me 800 things that make this guy a lunatic. That's right. You know what they did? They took the one decent thing he did and praised it. Nobody's saying anything about all this shit. Smoking truther, doesn't believe in evolution. A moron, doesn't believe in climate change. For the Iraq war. For TPP. Nobody says anything about that. What do they say? You know, as governor of Indiana, he expanded Medicaid. This is a very moderate choice. Moderate choice on Trump's behalf.
Wow. Expanded Medicaid.
I give up. This is how far right the Republican Party has moved. And this is how far right the Democrats have moved to keep up with the Republicans. The entire spectrum has shifted to the right. When we have this big of a loser as a candidate, and Obama comes out and talks about the one decent thing he did. He expanded Medicaid. Yay! Yeah, ignore everything else about his record. He expanded Medicaid. So I guess he's moderate.
Why would Obama say that? Obama's a Democrat. Obama might have said that before he was the VP choice. You know, who knows? Wow, that's amazing. So there's two good things about him. He expanded Medicaid, and he's pro-smoking.
Energy, environment.
You know what? That sounds like a very delusional man, and I feel sorry for people like that. I really do, because people like that are intelligent. You know, Christian people are very intelligent. They just have like the wrong way of thinking about certain things. You know, I mean, I'm not talking about religious people exactly, because I mean, you'd be a religious person, be a dentist, you know. I just mean like people that like Pence, you know, they just, it's like a waste of a brain, because Mike Pence is very, very intelligent. Sure. He just got the wrong information in his head. It's like the wrong way of thinking, but he has the brain capacity to be a genius and learn and shit like that. And it's just sad to see him misinformed and like, I don't even get mad. I get disappointed, you know. But the man is very intelligent for saying that he's pro-smoking. Now, I'll give him that, because yeah, I smoke myself. Do I plan on quitting? Yeah. I quit for 2 years straight. Started back like a dumbass. I admit that. But yeah, I mean, bring back cool smoking commercials. You know, not in that vapor shit. That shit's bad for you. But bring back good old tobacco smoking commercials. Because the ones from the 1950s were cool. Or it might have been the 60s. Either way, look it up on YouTube. Smoking is good for you. I am a healthcare physician. Smoking is great for you. It relaxes you. It calms you. Helps you lose weight. Have you smoke before you go to bed? Have you smoke before? People smoked like a freight train back then. The Rat Pack, baby. That's all they did. I love them guys. Hey, do whatever makes you happy. You know, I'd rather have a short, happy life than a long, drawn-out, miserable, slow life. But let's learn more about Mr. Pence. This is from the Humanist Report. Previous video, if you don't know, was from Secular Talk. Great guy, great channel. Subscribe to him. This video right here, the Humanist Report, as you see, with Mike. Figure it out. I'm just playing. Mike, figure it out. But yeah, great channel. I love his clever video editing. It's really good. Anyway, check it out. And we can't hear a goddamn thing you say.
VP.
Yeah.
It's official. Donald Trump has made his pick for VP. And that individual is Mike Pence, governor of Indiana. And I think that this is probably one of the worst picks he could have made. So his options and people who he was betting and floating were Newt Gingrich, Chris Christie, just really bad choices overall. And then he ended up choosing Mike Pence, the worst of all those bad choices. Now, the reason allegedly why he chose Mike Pence is because he can appeal to social conservatives with Mike Pence, and also because he's kind of seen as more moderate and he could potentially work with Congress. But if you're Donald Trump, you don't pick an establishment candidate. You pick Rand Paul. That's it. I mean, if I were Donald Trump, there'd be no other option. It'd be Rand Paul through and through. But he picked Mike Pence. Now, I think this is a terrible decision, both politically and strategically. So not only do I disagree with Mike Pence on virtually every single issue, but he contradicts Donald Trump on key issues that he could be attacking Hillary Clinton on. So, for example, Mike Pence was in favor of the Iraq War. Mike Pence is in favor of these disastrous free trade deals such as CAFTA, and the worst part is that Mike Pence is pro-establishment. He's literally part of the establishment. He was a congressman, and now he is a governor. So all these things that you could have criticized Hillary Clinton for, you could have said, well, you supported the Iraq War. That was wrong. You support the TPP and all these disastrous trade deals.
Yeah, he gave a lot up as far as having strategic strategy goes. He gave a lot up to have just say, hey, I'm a Christian. She's untrustworthy. She needs to be saved. He gave up a lot. Anti-TPP, the war, anti-war. He gave up a lot for him to say, hey, I'm a Christian. I'm a good guy. I'll clean up Trump. Maybe he didn't think this through. Damn, I'm surprised by that. I thought it was genius at first. But as we learn Mike Pence, we learn how retarded both of them are.
Deals that ship our jobs overseas. Now she can say, well, so does your VP. And you can't say
not retarded, smart, just misinformed. But these two are idiots for embracing each other. Pence, he just took it because, hey, VP position, you damn right, I'll take it. I don't care what he does. That's what he was thinking. But Trump, buffoon, didn't think this through. He's like, oh, Bible thumping man. Oh, he's against Hillary. Great job, but you're giving up anti-TPP and Iraq and pro-war. You're giving that up if they even bring it up, and I'm sure they will. They talk about foreign policy a lot in debates, but these guys are not going to be standing next to each other in the debates, though. The VP debate will be him focused on Bernie, hopefully, or whoever she picks, and they can kind of leave those issues out. But then again, the moderator can bring it up. She could be like, well, your cabinet, your running mate Trump does not support he's not pro-war, but you are. Or maybe the VP on the left side can bring it up. I was like, yeah, that's very messy, very messy.
anything. So I think strategically, this is just a dumb move. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Mike Pence is the governor that literally signed a bill into law that legalizes discrimination against LGBT people. So this bill that he signed into law states that businesses can just kick people out if they're gay. That's who Trump chose as his VP. Now, to embarrass himself even more, once businesses started to threaten to leave the state of Indiana.
Man, he's not going to get the ethnic vote or gay vote with that, man. He's going to get the Christian voters. But I'm like, was it worth it, though? Yeah, you're not going to get the ethnic vote. You're not going to get the LGBT community vote. Was it really worth it? You're going to get the Christian voters. And there's a lot of them. Wow. So you get the Christian voters, but you're not getting the gay vote. That's usually how it goes in left versus right. But, man, really? Mitt Romney couldn't even get the ethnic vote. He couldn't get anybody hardly. I know Trump is getting a lot of votes, though. He destroyed the GOP because he's appealing in different ways. But, damn, man. Plus, he's, celebrity and all that good stuff. But anyway.
Media scrutiny and backlash from everyone, well, then he started to walk it back and made a big fool of himself and started to call for the repeal of certain parts of the bill and to kind of make the language in the bill a little bit more kind to gay people. Oh, is he not merciful? Now, Mike Pence was also against the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, so he didn't believe that LGBT people deserve to serve openly in the military, and he's also in support of allowing businesses to be able to fire people that are gay. So he is just an asshole through and through to gay people. So I don't get why Trump would make this pick if he expects to still appeal to younger conservatives who are not socially conservative. They're fiscally conservative, but socially liberal, and who are anti-establishment. It just seems like a terrible pick. Now, Mike Pence isn't just an anti-gay asshole. He's bad on so many issues. So to give you some examples, he is staunchly anti-abortion and is even against stem cell research. So in that regard, he'll actually get along with Trump since Trump wants to literally punish women who get abortions. He voted against protecting LGBT people from job discrimination. He supports a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage. He voted in favor of the Patriot Act. He supports a constitutional amendment that bans desecration of the flag, which is idiotic because that's protected under the First Amendment, and it's just a piece of material. Stop being a drama queen. I mean, Mike Pence himself shits on the American
Mike Pence wants to bring back the Confederate flag again.
Like more than anyone who literally desecrates it. So I think that that's just a stupid position to have. Now, also, he's in total support of the drug war and wants to expand the fight in Mexico. He supports prayer in schools. He voted against funding for education numerous times and denied millions in grants specifically to Black and Latino colleges. He is against parental leave for federal employees. He is rated 100% by the Christian Coalition for his, quote, pro-family voting record, meaning he just hates gay people, and they applaud him for that. Now, he supports disastrous free trade deals like CAFTA, as I stated, and he literally voted against helping workers that lost their jobs due to globalization. He's in favor of a wall on the southern border. He is in favor of ending birthright citizenship and wants to report undocumented immigrants that go to the hospital. Let me just stop there and reiterate how extreme this position is. So if you're an undocumented immigrant, he's saying,
oh, wow, these undocumented workers are going to be scared to death of this man.
If you need hospital help and medical attention, well, do you want to get deported? Well, if not, then die. That's what he's saying. He's against net neutrality. So he wants corporations to be able to create fast lanes and control and censor the internet. He voted to authorize military force in Iraq, and he believed that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, which was a total lie. He also pushed for draconian marijuana penalties.
Yeah, that was made up by the Bushes to put more money in the war. Absolutely.
As governor in 2013, he supports mandatory minimums, and like Trump, he is against a free and open media because he literally tried to create a state-controlled media outlet.
Wow, so he's pro-Chinese, pro-China there. God damn.
For purposes of propaganda in Indiana. Now, besides him being on the wrong side of history on virtually every political issue, he's also stupid. So he said that smoking doesn't kill and
oh, God damn. This man's going to make me vote for Hillary. Shit. That's why I try to keep my who I'm going to vote for quiet, because I don't know yet. I don't want to vote for Hillary. She's a liar. But man, she ain't fucking stupid. Stupid.
Concerns about it were the product of, quote, hysteria from the political class and the media. And he alluded to the fact that he may be against evolution because while he wouldn't confirm that he believed in it, he said that he actually embraces the view that God created the heavens and the earth and the seas and all that's in them. How innovative. So you're denying science. Classy. Now, he also called global warming a myth and said that the world is cooler now than it was 50 years ago. Not true at all. The world is much hotter. In fact, we are seeing record years. 2014 was the hottest year on record.
You can go out. You want to prove extreme weather? Just go outside. Shit, man, because we have days of extreme heat. I remember this past winter we had days of extreme coldness, and I could tell year by year because I pay attention with my mindfulness training. I'm like, man, it's more colder than it used to be. I mean, you can tell something's changing in the climate. Oh, wow. This guy, he's not, I wouldn't say he's retarded. He just has a strong right-wing position. I believe he probably believes in evolution and whatever the case. Shouldn't matter, but, I mean, it should matter as related to science and medicine goes, but he knows what he's doing. He signed up to be a right-winger, and he's fighting for those positions. This motherfucker's a Tea Party man.
By 2015, and it looks like it's going to be outdone by 2016. So politically, Mike Pence is terrible, worst case scenario, and strategically, this is just dumb. So any argument that Trump could use against Hillary Clinton, that she's the establishment, that she's pro-TPP, pro-disaster.
Yeah, she could say, look at your running mate. Very smart, Trump.
Trade deals, pro-Iraq war. You can't use it now because Hillary Clinton is going to say, well, your VP is in support of these deals. So the question is, why the hell would Trump pick Mike Pence and not someone like Rand Paul, who would actually get him the support of younger, socially liberal, fiscally conservative individuals in the country? Well, to answer that question, you got to follow the money. So according to The Hill, Pence is a proven fundraiser with deep ties to the billionaire GOP donors, Charles and David Koch, and he hails from a Rust Belt battleground state in a region that might represent Trump's likeliest path to the White House. So I get the swing state, but I mean, are you surprised about Mike Pence's relationship with the Koch brothers? See, Donald Trump, from the very beginning, was trying to suck up to billionaires. He actually courted billionaire donors such as Sheldon Adelson, Paul Singer, the Koch brothers, but they rejected him. And we now know that Sheldon Adelson did come around and is pledging to support Donald Trump by donating $100 million to his campaign. But at first, they didn't want to support Donald Trump. And he railed against them for that. He was claiming anyone who took money from these billionaire donors, like Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Jeb Bush, they're all puppets. So now he's holding meetings with the Koch brothers, and they're still reluctant to support him. Now, you want the support of the Koch brothers if you're Donald Trump, because before the election started, they initially pledged to give nearly $1 billion. I think it was something to the tune of $900 million to help the Republican get elected. And they don't want Donald Trump. So by picking Mike Pence, well, maybe you can get closer to the money bank and Daddy Warbucks over there. So after being shot down by the Kochs and other billionaires time and again, Mike Pence might actually be Donald Trump's ticket to their wallet. So that's why he picked him. But I think that this is going to be detrimental to his campaign and really hurt him in the long run. So any Bernie Sanders supporter who would have voted for you because you're anti-establishment, you're going to lose them now. And furthermore, any younger Republican, now they're going to jump further to Gary Johnson. You just push them away. So this was a terrible decision. You picked someone who is politically and strategically just the worst case scenario for you. So congratulations, Donald Trump. You are further proving that you do not know what the hell you're doing.
This campaign, this election gets stupider and stupider. Man, I thought at first, wow, Mike Pence is going to, attack Hillary on her morality and things like that. Smart move. Okay. And I think that's part of the reason why. But now you're going to hear as much from the left about how Trump and Pence ticket, they disagree with each other. And this guy, humanist Mike, he's absolutely right. independents that were thinking about voting for Trump for being anti-establishment, they're going to say, but boy, man, the establishment just doesn't give, I guess they think the general population is stupid. We don't watch YouTube. We don't fact check things. We're not informed. Wow. It's like he picked him either because he didn't put a lot of thought into it, or it has something to do with the Koch brothers, or he's just saying, well, you know, people are just not going to research this. Like in a debate, you have 26 million people watch it and 20,000 people fact checking everything. That's true, but the left wing is completely going to expose Mike Pence. I mean, in the upcoming months, this shit right here makes me want my party. I wish them victory now. If Jill Stein and Gary Johnson or one or the other doesn't get into the general election, I'm gonna have to vote for Hillary. You know, because what I just heard, I just don't like. You don't mess with my precious science and my climate change and stuff. Facts. You don't fuck with that. Yeah. So, man, I know Hillary's a criminal and what pro Wall Street, and you know, takes monies from campaign contributors and banks, but I mean, she's better than these two clowns, that's for sure. That's for sure. She's a lesser evil. Now, I've said Trump was a lesser evil. I don't believe that anymore. Not with the VP pick. No, hell no. Fuck them guys. Fuck that way of thinking. Them guys. I mean, it's bullshit. And TYT, Secular Talk, Humanist Report, Tim Black, H.A. I can't wait to hear what H.A. Goodman has to say about Mike Pence, because, man, we're just going to tear them a new asshole with this. Trump picked the wrong motherfucker. Because this right here is just going to be too easy to debunk. Too easy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you tonight. We went on kind of long here. Me rambling a lot, but hey, it's cool. You know, it's better than before where I would, you know, play a lot of videos and not give as much input. So you got a lot of input for me. So that's fine. It's just I get passionate. I love politics. I love the game, playing the game, and you know, I remember when I got back into politics this year, because my girlfriend didn't work out. I said, you know, I got a lot of conservative friends, and I said, maybe I am conservative in a lot of ways. And I got back into politics, and I caught up on everything. I said, nope, I'm still on the left. Absolutely. And I'm also an independent thinker, but man, seeing horse shit like this, there ain't no way I'll vote Republican. The two candidates contradict each other. I mean, come on, man. Trump should have ran on the Democratic ticket, but I'm glad he didn't, because you motherfuckers can have him. But wow. Mike Pence makes Donald Trump look like a Democrat. It makes him look liberal. I ain't never seen so much bullshit in my life. Wow. But anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. You want to help this channel, simply just subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very much. I love you guys. I love talking to you. And you can help by liking the video and leaving comments. You know, appreciate it. I'll talk to you. And you want to come on the show, just let me know. And we can talk about this. I don't care what your position is. If you want to have a civil discourse or just cut up some, you're more welcome to. All right. Namaste and take care. Mwah.